Hello guys, I'm back from another video and today we're talking about what if Deku was reincarnated into Genshin Impact. So, in the last video we talked about how when, Izuku blocked the attack from, La Senora from basically, hurting, Lumine, he would start to fight, La Senora. And during the fight, a certain, Raiden Shogun was watching all of this as she was thinking in her mind that if she were to lose, guess I'll just have to kill her. And so that wish would come true, and, La Senora would be killed by Raiden Shogun. After doing that, Raiden Shogun would basically teleport them to the plains of Euthymia, or at least I think that's the name. I keep replacing that name to like Realm of Euthymia or something of that sort, but I don't really generally remember the name because, in my opinion, the Realms of Euthymia is one of my least favorite places. I mean, the whole design of it is pretty cool, but, meaning-wise, it's not really my favorite place. Wait for a second. And so, after being teleported into the plains of Euthymia, they would start to fight, Raiden Shogun, and apparently that they're gonna be fighting because, if Izuku wins, he would have to, how do we say this? Oh yeah, and the Vision Hunt Decree, and no longer has to be, forced to, marry her. And if she wins, well, the Vision Hunt Decree will still, be there, but not only that, Izuku is gonna be forced to, marry her. And not only that, Lumine would probably lose, I guess you could say, her quote-unquote vision, even though, she doesn't really have a vision. Like, nobody knows that she actually has a vision. So, yeah, let's just say when she hears, or at least when she sees, Lumine that she doesn't really have a vision, well, she's definitely going to be confused about that. So, after, this whole decision, they would start to fight as Izuku's currently, having a bit of a rough time doing this. Because after, getting all of the elements, well, he's still not used to it yet. And so would start to fight with her as when he was, basically in a dire situation, he would basically create a large slash thanks to the help of, his fire-like scythe and would basically defeat her, not really defeat her, but more like, create a large-ass area made of, glass thanks to the help of, the large slash of fire that he created from his, fire-like scythe. And after using all of his power, he would decide to just, use all three of his weapons. But technically not all three because, he doesn't have, another freaking arm. So he has to, keep one in his mouth. More specifically, one of his, sickles. Almost resembling like Zoro during that, Wano arc. I can't remember the actual battle's name, but the battle between him and that other guy, the one that had the scythe, but, Zoro took the scythe and basically put it in his mouth, basically. And so, he would basically start to fight him, and, not fight him, I meant her, and would shortly defeat her. After, going into the balcony, she would announce that the Vision Hunt Decree has been, destroyed, and said that she's going to no longer, allow people to basically get hurt just because they have visions. But after she announced that, let's just say all of the, vision holders and also the rebels were pretty much happy, including some of the, soldiers, which, by the way, they didn't really want to fight them, mostly because, let's just say they don't really want to fight them because their asses are being handed to them, like, daily. Even though it seems like the rebels are obviously, losing stuff. But either way, as she finishes that, little speech, she would basically kiss Izuku. And apparently, she's sort of, how do I say this? Sort of, overwrote that rule, and in a way would basically break it, sort of. She would say that, if she wants to, keep the Vision Hunt Decree no longer there, well, he has to, marry Raiden Shogun, and so would, do that. And as for, a certain, Tengu over there, aka Kujasara, even though she does care for Raiden Shogun, at this point she doesn't really care right now because she definitely wants to smash Izuku at this point. So she would start flying there and becoming a little bit jealous after seeing, her basically kissing Izuku. And we basically see, Lumine there just basically in shock and would basically start to fight her. Thankfully, it didn't escalate all that much, but, yeah. And so, the end of the Vision of Decree would be over, and the war, or the civil war of Inazuma would finally be over as well. And so, that is basically the explanation about what happened last episode. And so, let's talk about what happens next. So, we go straight after, what happened last episode. Sorry about that. And yeah, oh boy. Let's just say Izuku is currently, just like, what the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened in his mind, like, over and over and over and over and over again. As currently Lumina is basically trying to, talk to him, as while they were talking, let's just say, for her, aka, aka Raiden Shogun, is currently there, just like, satisfied, thinking in her mind, that felt fine, she would basically say in her mind, as she would just look over and would see her most loyal lieutenant, aka Kujasara, as, she definitely seems a bit pissed, as she would be surprised seeing her, mostly because she thought that she was currently at, like a nearby island, like after hearing the explosion. But after looking at her, she would say, Kujasara, what are you doing? As she would say, Raiden Shogun, I can tolerate many things, but you kissing my YN, my Izuku, I'm really sorry about that, because, I keep calling Izuku or Bell, or sometimes both, as YN now, because, recently I started, reading a lot of, fan fiction, mostly on Wattpad. Yeah, and, yeah, oh boy, let's just say it kind of affected me. Boy. Anyway, continuing on with the video, she would say, I can tolerate many things, but you touching my Izuku is certainly not one of them, she would say. As she would say this, your Izuku. Why did you say that exactly, she would say. You're nothing more than a lieutenant, and you dare call me that? And I thought you're supposed to be my most loyal lieutenant. As she would say, alright, I'm done with this. As she would say, I'll fight for my love, no matter what. As she'd start, cocking her bow back, as she'd say, are you really all ready for a fight? As she'd say, oh, I am ready. As they would currently start to, fight. Yeah, currently Izuku and, Lumina are currently just ignoring them, while the rest of the people there down below, mostly the rebels, are thinking, damn, Izuku's lucky. Like all of them would say in unison, in their minds, as Goro's just going like, why does this sound like a certain, a certain light novel that he read? Yeah, apparently, canonically, in Genshin Impact, there's apparently light novels, which... Yeah. So anyway, continuing on with this episode, yeah. As they're currently, fighting, specifically, Raiden Shogun, and also, her used to be lieutenant, kind of used to be, I mean, she's still pretty much still in the, in the army, but still, they're, aka, Kujasara, are currently fighting right now, currently nearby somewhere. They don't really know what happened to them. They're currently, going somewhere and they're still fighting. As Izuku would say this, Lumine, what are you doing? As she would say, thank God. Anyway, I can't believe you actually got, kissed by her. As he would say this, well, I'm pretty much surprised and paralyzed at this point, so, as she would say this, anyway, as she would look over and would see a lot of people there, as she would say this, we should probably get down now. As Izuku would say this, yeah, we probably should. And so they would start, going down thanks to the help of, Izuku creating wings made out of animal energy. As for Lumine, she would start using, animal energy as well, but instead would start creating, just imagine, Aang's, avatar, what do you call them, air balls. I don't even say things, don't you dare put your mind in the gutter, I swear to God. Anyway, so she starts putting these air balls on her feet. Actually, I should probably rephrase that. Let's just call them wind Russian. I meant Wind Rasengans, basically. Wait for a second. I meant Wind Rasengans. Just imagine her just like, putting them on her, feet, basically. After, flowing down, everybody is currently celebrating, knowing that they, ended the Civil War, ended the Civil War of Inazuma. As they're currently celebrating, Kokome would basically say, hey guys, we should probably get back. And besides, we should probably celebrate it with a little party. As Izuku would say this. Yeah, maybe we should. And so they would start leaving, as all of the guards are saying to themselves, well, this is certainly interesting, especially the end, as all of them would start to think, damn, Izuku's lucky. All of them were basically saying in their minds. So, yeah. What the fuck just... let me just check. Sorry about that, it was just a video. By the way, currently I have my tablet running right now, and I'm just running videos on the background because, let's just say I'm a bit bored sometimes, so I just usually have my tablet just play random videos. So yeah, just ignore the sounds. God damn, that scared the shit out of me. Anyway, continuing on with the video, as they're currently getting back to where the, rebel camp currently is, they would start preparing for a large feast. As everybody's basically, preparing the large feast, Izuku would be there just resting up after the large battle between him and, Raiden Shogun. As, Lumine would say this. Hey Izuku, are you okay? As Izuku would say this. Well, after being kissed by Raiden Shogun, aka the Archon of this country, technically not good, he would basically say. Not only that, I'm going to marry her. God, why? He would basically start saying in his mind. As she would say this. Don't worry, don't worry. Even though she said that she's going to, marry you, and, if you don't marry her, she will start another civil war, but still, as Izuku would say this, don't worry, it's for the betterment of this country after all, but I'm still not ready for this. I'm not really ready for marriage at all, as he'd say in his mind. Even me, back when I was still in my old life, I didn't really get married, and apparently, as he would start remembering a little, tidbit about his life back in the My Hero Academia verse. So we go to a little flashback where he was still in, still in the League of Villains. While he was walking with, with Toga, he would slowly become a little bit, happy with her, and would slowly become, a little bit infatuated with her. But one day when she approached him, apparently she would basically tell him that, she sort of had a crush on his best friend. Not his, not Bakugo for obvious reasons, but, Dabi. And let's just say that crushed yeah, he got friend zoned, boy. And so would slowly just go in his mind and just think, yeah, I can't believe my actual crush dumped me for, Mr. Frankenstein over there, but still, lucky for them. Immediately starts crying inside. So, yeah, as while he's thinking this, he would say, wait, I wonder what they're doing right now, he would basically say in his mind. Currently, we go back to the My Hero Academia verse, as currently a now in hiding, Dabi and, Toga are currently, taking care of their children, which currently are in about, currently about 15, and they're currently going through, their life in, in this society, more specifically, the society that Bakugo changed for the better. And now they're currently working as heroes. Heroes in training, to be more precise. As Toga's pretty much proud of them, even though she, used to be a villain, but, sort of regrets it. And as for, a certain Dabi boy over there, well, he's pretty much mourning the death of his best friend, aka Izuku. They were pretty much best friends when they first met. I mean, both of them had pretty much bad childhoods. Especially Izuku, so he sort of became like a big brother to him. And so would always visit his grave. Even though his grave was pretty much, unknown to them. I mean, unknown to, most people. Except for him, and also Toga, and some other League, League of Villain members. Like, for example, Twice, which Twice is currently just an old man now. And, yeah, apparently he's I think he was in his, late 30s or something. Or at least I think. I just can't remember. Anyway, continuing on with the video. As while he was basically thinking this, Dobby would say, I hope you're pretty much happy, Zuko. I just hope you're in heaven. With your mom at least. He would basically say, because apparently, his mother apparently died. Ever since the death of his, ever since the death of her, son, she became a little bit depressed, and so would basically, slowly die because of it. So yeah, going back into the universe that currently Izuku is in, aka the Genshin Impact universe. Wait for a second. Sorry about that. So, currently going back into the universe of, Genshin Impact, Izuku is currently, in the, I guess you can say in the party, as everybody's currently celebrating their win in the, the final battle between them and, Raiden Shogun's forces. As while they're currently celebrating, all of them would basically, currently just are basically drinking, having a bit of fun, and Goibia's basically shooting off fireworks like crazy, like she's going like full on Bakugo, but except with all of the murder, time to kill people or something like that. Instead, it's more like, she's a bit, joyful and would basically, shoot off fireworks as she's, holding some sparklers, or at least I think they're called that. They're basically like those sticks that you basically have gunpowder in them and they basically sparkle. That's basically what they are. So, currently Sayu is just sleeping and, Beto would be there, which she's currently celebrating after hearing about the win in Inazuma. She would basically start to celebrate drinking with them as well. As for Izuku is currently eating some what is that called again? Kontaksu, or at least I think that's the name, Kontaksu ramen. As while he was eating that, he was currently, sitting right beside Lumine. As Lumine would say this, so Izuku, you really are going to get married to her? I mean, it's probably going to be a bad idea, especially with, the other girls. As Izuku would say this, yeah, I know, but what am I supposed to do? He would basically say in his mind. As Lumine would say this, wait. As she would start to, go towards one of her friends, specifically Yoimiya, as Izuku would say this. Wait, Lumine, what are you doing? As she would say this, I'm gonna be talking with Yoimiya for a sec. So, as Izuku was still pretty much enjoying his ramen, as he would look over and would see somebody beside him, specifically Goro, as he would say this. What is it, Goro? As Goro would say this. Well, about your whole arrangement with, Raiden Shogun. I guess you're lucky with that. I mean, she mostly is cold-hearted to everybody, but it seems for her, you're the exception, as Izuku would say this. Oh yes, the exception. That definitely sounds reasonable. I mean, why me, of all people? As she would say this. I don't know. I meant not she, I meant he. Wait for a second. Sorry about that. Goro would say this. I meant, are you okay with the whole marrying part? I mean, it was technically more of a, an arrangement, but still, it's a bit weird in my opinion, said, Goro, as Izuku would say this. Yes, it definitely sounds weird. I mean, for you people at least, as you would think in his mind, this is sounding more like an anime more and more, he would say into his mind. Slowly looks at the camera. Anyway, continuing on with the episode, as he would say this. So, Goro, as he would say this, yeah? As he would say this, well, we never really talked before, so I'm pretty much awkward with you. As he would say this, yeah. Anyway, I guess it was a pretty nice battle. It was the end of an era, I guess you could say. As Izuku would say this. Yeah, I guess you can say that. As he would basically say this. So, Izuku... What the Okay! That scared the shit out of me. What the fuck? What the fuck? Anyway, continuing on with the episode, he would go like, Izuku, as Izuku would say this. Yeah, Goro, as he would say this. So, because you're marrying, Raiden Shogun, who's going to be the best man, he would basically say, as Izuku would say this. I don't know. I mean, I'm not really into marrying or anything of that sort. I never even thought of that before. As he would basically say this. I see. So I think it's time you probably pick a best man. I mean, makes sense. As Izuku would say this. He would basically start clenching his fist and clenching his, like pinching the bridge of his nose, as you would say this. Oh, why has my life become this? As, Lumin would come back, as you'd say, hey, Goro, as Goro would say this. Oh, we're sitting here with Izuku? As she would say this. Yeah, as you would say this. Oh, I should better move. Anyway, bye guys, as they would start waving him off, as Izuku would say this. So what did you talk about with, Yomika? I meant Yomiya. As she would say this. Well, apparently, in the next few months, apparently there's going to be a festival. It's called the... Apparently the festival is called the Summer Festival, as Izuku would say this. Wait, as you would start thinking in his mind, as you would say, is that basically just a summer festival from my world? As you think, yeah, this definitely sounds like Japan, but except more fantasy-ized, he would basically say. As, she would say this. What did you say, Izuku? As Izuku would say this. Oh, it's nothing. Anyway, so what about it? As she would say this. Well, what about, your, I guess you'd say, my, or your case, I guess you'd say, harem can, go there and, meet up with the, new members of her sort of harem, she would say, as Izuku would say this. Are you mad? I mean, seriously, we have a yandere, maid knight, my childhood friend, then there's the, the Universe Power girl, then there's also, I mean, I guess you could say the sort of normal-ish one. I mean, she's still pretty much weird, like, she mostly, gets all of her ingredients, like, from the wild, which, by the way, is a bit, taxing, which mostly comes from me basically being a bit impatient, but still, I mean, she does cook a lot of good food, but, as she would say this, I know, but still, I mean, why not? It's better to introduce them, and besides, if they know that, let's just say, you're gonna be forced to marry them, well, I think it's better if they, sort of became your mistresses. As Izuku would say this. Excuse me, what? As she would say this. I mean, it's okay. I mean, in Inazuma, and I also heard in Mondstadt, and not only that, in, Liyue, it's pretty much okay with, polygamy. As Izuku would say this. Are you sure? As she would say this. Yeah, I sort of read the rules. Apparently it's actually true. As Izuku would start clenching his, is, like, not really clenching, but more like, pinching his nose as you think, please don't tell me that I'm going to be, forced to marry every single one of these girls. Not only that, my childhood friend, he would basically start, holding his, like, using both of his heads to, not both of his heads, I meant both of his hands, and basically started, putting them up to his, face and say, God, why? He would basically, muffle that sound, basically, like, muffle that, God, why, please, like, that part, as she would say this. Izuku, are you okay? As Izuku would say this. Yeah, I guess you'd say I'm fine. He would basically say with a little bit of a forced smile. As she would say this. Anyway, we should probably get some sleep. After all, we're gonna be going back to, Mondstadt soon. As he would say this. Wait, really? Why? Did something happen? As she would say, no, we're just gonna be going back so we can tell everybody about it. And then we can go to Liyue and we can announce everybody that they can, go to, to Inazuma so they can celebrate the, firework festival. And so, after telling him that, they would start, going back home, and so, would basically fall asleep. And not really actually going home to, Mondstadt, but more like, going to sleep, or going home to their low, like, I guess you can say, like, what do you call it? Cottage-like area. So, after that, they would slowly wake up as they would start, packing all of their things, as they would say goodbye to their friends. While they were basically arriving at the, harbor, several people were basically, cheering them on. Because, they basically ended the Civil War, but before they can actually leave, they would hear the sound of thunder, as they would say, Please don't tell me it's her. As you would look over and would see both the Electro Girls, aka, you know, uh, aka Raiden Shogun, and, and Kujo Sara, as you would say, so, Izuku, you're gonna be leaving, right? Said, Raiden Shogun, as Izuku would say this. Yeah, we'll be coming back in like 4 months, and we're gonna be coming here because of, the summer festival. We're gonna be waiting until that. As she would say this. I see. As, Kujisara would basically come up to him as she would say this. Izuku, as she would say this. Hope to see you again, she would smile, as Izuku would say this. Sure. As she would say, I also want to, give you something before you leave. As, Lumin would say this. Anyway, Izuku, I'm going to be going into the ship, so be ready. As Izuku would say this. Right, Lumin. As she would start to leave, going into the, I guess you could say, like, the inner quarters of the ship. As Izuku would say this. What is it, Kujisara? As she would say this. Well, I wanted to give you this. As she would lean in closer to Izuku, as she would kiss him. On the lips. Oh boy, let's just say, Raiden Shogun is currently, making a little bit of a thunderstorm, which caused everybody to start running away in fear. Some of the, people that were still pretty much standing outside were basically just like, giving thumbs up to Izuku. Like going like, yeah, my boy, As after getting that kiss, you would say, why did you do that, Kujisara? You would basically start blushing a little bit, as she would say, well, I sort of like you, and if you're wondering, we decided to share you, okay? And trust me, we won't fight over you anymore. As Izuku would say this, I see that, but still, as you'd start, feel a little bit flustered, I should say this, you should probably get going now. Hope to see you again, Izuku, she would say with a happy smile, said, Kujisara. As, and as for, Raiden Shogun, she would say, Izuku, as she would look over, he would look over, aka Izuku, as she would come up to him, as she would say this, goodbye, and I hope to see you again. As she would basically, come a little bit, closer to him, as she would basically fully kiss him on the lips, pretty seductively to might I add. So, after doing that, he would basically, feel even more flustered and would start running away with the help of, a bit of his, animal vision with speed. And so he would basically land on the ship, and so they would start to go off, going back to Mondstadt. So, after leaving, the harbor of, Inazuma, both, Kujisara and Raiden would basically, wave their goodbyes to him. And so, after, waving him goodbye, they would slowly get out of there, out of the, harbor, as Kujisara would say this. Because I'm going to be Izuku's mistress and you're going to be his sort of main wife, as she would say this, yes. As she would say this, you better give me some time for him, okay? As she would say this, oh, don't worry. Izuku's definitely going to share us. She would basically smile, as Raiden would basically look over to see, a certain, sort of, awkwardly looking, Kujisara, as she would say this. Don't worry, I'll share him with you, and make sure not to, break his pelvis, she would basically say, as, she would start to blush a lot, specifically Kujisara, as she would start running away in embarrassment, using her wings to basically propel herself. So yeah, so as we pan out to, a different perspective, we go to, Mondstadt, as currently, the Knights of Avonius are currently, all together, as, Amber would say this. So, what do you want, Jean? As she would say this. Well, apparently Izuku and Lumin are apparently coming back, as all of them would perk up at this. Mostly, Amber and also Noelle, which, by the way, remember, I sort of made, Noelle a complete yandere, because, why the fuck not? Because thanks to the help of this specific comment, I meant not comment, I meant comic, this one. So it seems that I can't find the original video. It seems to be, deleted. I really missed that video though. Like seriously, the Yandere Noelle, goddamn the S tier, S tier D voice acting, by the way. So, as Noelle is basically thinking about some interesting thoughts about seeing her, Izuku over there, she would basically start, let's just say everybody's currently, just like, thinking that they can see, the honorary knight in Izuku, which, by the way, they think is pretty powerful. And after hearing about their exploits in, Inazuma, and also from, from Liyue, let's just say they're pretty excited to see them again. But for now, for Noelle and also, Amber, they're pretty much the most excited out of all of them, because they can finally see their Izuku-kun back. Mostly, Noelle, because, she's basically like a childhood friend, and not only that, sort of, lover now. And Noelle, being a yandere now, well, she sort of became, oh boy, she's definitely gonna kill whoever, tried to hurt him. Especially now with, La Senora. Even though she's gone, she does still feel a little bit of anger when she's about to hear about that. So yeah, so after hearing about this, they would start going out so they can, prepare for their arrival. As, for, wait for a second. As for, Jean, she would say this. Hope to see you, honorary knight and Izuku of the 1,000 Elements. She would start to chuckle hearing that name, as she would say, 1,000 Elements. It's such a silly name. At least give him a much better title next time. As, after saying that, she would look over and would see a little girl with blonde hair and red eyes, similar to Bakugo. As she would say this. By the way, Klee, as Klee would say this. Why is it, Master Klee? As she would say this. As she would say this. Well, I don't want you trying to, explode something when they arrive, okay? I don't want to have another incident with the pond. As she would say this. Oh, don't worry. Klee would not, Klee would not, do any fish blasting today. As she would say this. I hope not. After saying this to this girl by the name of Klee, she would start to leave, as, Klee is currently in the library with Lisa. And after, basically, they're just, doing nothing, she would say, maybe Klee should go fish blasting, as she would slowly leave, thanks to help of sneaking around, as she would start to leave, going outside to, let's just say blew up a lake, and probably cause, the Genevica version to probably get a heart attack. Yeah, so I'm gonna be ending this episode right off here. Yeah, so, I hope you liked the video, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!